All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, we're going to be talking about the Acolyte yet again. And even though the Disney Star Wars videos do not get views on this channel, which, again, I don't really care, I just feel like it's important to talk about certain aspects of what's happening, especially since they've been so aggressive with the advertising when it comes to Disney Star Wars that I feel like we need to be just as aggressive, showcasing exactly how they're performing. So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, "Financial analyst calls Star Wars the Acolyte's global viewership pathetic," and explains that only about 3% of Disney Plus subscribers actually watch the TV show.
Some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, dwindling viewership in Star Wars has been a thing for a while now, right? When the three movies came out, the newest trilogy came out, it did great money, it did great performances because people weren't exactly realizing what was happening quite yet. It started to dwindle as the second and third movie came out, but ultimately it still did okay, right? It did definitely good numbers at the end of the day. The TV shows is when we really started seeing people not show any interest, right? It started to dwindle so much to the point where they had to start even exploring selling their TV show to other networks to try to get more viewership. They did it with Andor, they did it with Ahsoka, I believe, and they're probably going to do it with the Acolyte as well. So let's get into the article. It says the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm attempted to use access media outlet Variety to put a positive spin on initial viewership for Leslie Headland's Star Wars The Acolyte. So again, guys, before we do, hit that subscribe button if you are new here and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says, however, financial analyst Valiant Renegade calls the numbers pathetic and explains that only around 3% of Disney Plus subscribers tuned into the show. Variety's Salam Hailu wrote a headline that blared, "The Acolyte reaches 4.8 million views in one day, biggest Disney Plus launch of 2024. In the article, Hailu reiterated that The Acolyte's Disney Plus newest Star Wars series reached 4.8 million views in its first day of availability. This marks the streamer's biggest series premiere of 2024, according to Disney. She added an exact first day viewership total isn't available for Ahsoka, the most recent Star Wars series, though Disney did report that it took 5 days to reach 14 million views. That comes out to an average of 2.8 million viewers per day, 2 million below the launch of The Acolyte. A view is calculated by dividing the number of hours each title was watched by its runtime. Financial analyst Valiant Renegade reacted to this information and described it as pathetic and claimed that Disney is trying to pull a fast one. Now, I do agree that it seems extremely sus, right? Because we know that Disney understands our biggest complaints, I would say, about TV shows, right? They never release viewership, ever. Nobody ever releases viewership on streaming because most of these TV shows are failures, right? And it's not just Disney Plus. It's a lot of different streaming platforms that a lot of their TV shows end up being massive failures compared to the budgets that were used to make them. So they don't want to mention the numbers because if they do, the investors are going to get a lot more shy, if you catch my drift. Now, with this being said, this TV show all of a sudden on the first day wants to put out the viewership and try to get it out there quickly in order to spin press positively because there is a lot of negative press about this show. The audience score is abysmal. It's under 40%, I believe, at the time of this recording, and they're going to do anything they can to try to make it look good. Disney always does this. They're doing this right now with their new ride that they replaced with Splash Mountain. The DEI ride, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they decided to put out their own vlog, even though they've never done that before. They put out their own vlog showcasing the ride and trying to make people seem like everybody's enjoying it, nothing's wrong with it. Meanwhile, actual influencers that went to go to the ride have all reported that it's a broken mess. So again, they'll do anything to try to make themselves look good in the public. He explained, first of all, the views themselves. Remember, there were 2 episodes. So we're talking about a total runtime between what was just the first episode or both episodes. We don't know. They didn't stipulate and came up with the viewership total. I guarantee you it's both episodes together. That's obvious, right? And I've been saying this forever. There's a reason why they release 2 episodes at the same time. They release it so that the number is the biggest that it possibly can be. So when they put out these articles and they talk to these investors, they can claim a win. That's all it is. I guarantee you they will never talk about viewership again after this first initial number. They're only going to put out the 4.8 million and never talk about it ever again. That's what they always do. They did it. They did it with Rings of Power. Amazon did it with Rings of Power. They're going to do it with this TV show. They did it with The Last of Us. They talked about the crazy numbers and then they completely ignored it after the fact. This is just how it goes. He continued, the other part of the issue is that 4.8 million views does not stipulate from where or from what market that was derived. And when it comes to Disney Plus, and we go by what they said in the past when they report Disney Plus numbers for things like the Acolyte or for things like Ahsoka, they're talking about global views. They're talking about Disney Plus with its nearly 150 million subscriber reach around the globe. That means that basically less than 3% of all Disney Plus subscribers tuned in that Tuesday to watch The Acolyte. They don't stipulate US like we know when we read reports from places like Nielsen or even Samba TV. Of course they're not. Why would they? You guys got to understand, this is about PR. This is about making themselves look as good as humanly possible. This is about nothing else other than that. That's the most important thing to these people. So at the end of the day, if it makes them look better to put out a global bigger number, then that's what they're going to do. They don't care about being accurate. They don't care about telling you the actual truth. They only care about showcasing what's going to make them look good. So then it says next he relayed, but it actually gets worse. Let's read that first sentence again. The Acolyte, Disney Plus's newest Star Wars series, reached 4.8 million views in the first day of availability. This marks the streamer's biggest series premiere of 2024 thus far, according to Disney. What other major competition has there been in terms of a series premiere on Disney Plus since January 1st of 24? There's actually only been one, and that was Echo. And we all know they didn't release the viewership numbers for Echo. So they definitely damn sure not going to do that. And that was a show that was released in binge model form. So you would think that they would be so proud of those numbers, but even with the binge model, it didn't do anything. Now, sure, they had other things like X-Men 97, but we're talking about small potato kind of shows or just shows that were very poorly received. So I don't know how beating these other animated series or very bad Marvel series that nobody watched, is this something to tout that so far with virtually nothing else out there on the platform to speak of in terms of premieres since the beginning of the year that we're going to have to throw a party for this one, right? Well, again, it's all about the message, right? So they know that this is a DEI-infested game, so TV show. So what they want to do is they want to make it seem as if this is the greatest thing that's ever come out on Disney Plus. But the funny thing is, when you really dig deep down and get past the PR speech and get past the political speech, you'll realize that they don't have anything to compare it to. So of course, I mean, at this point, this is the Special Olympics, right? You're gonna compare the Acolyte against the other garbage that's come out on Disney Plus. Even X-Men 97, that is loved by everybody apparently. That TV show just didn't garner enough viewership, and it got less viewership than What If. So most people probably pirated that TV show just out of hate towards Disney, and I can't blame them. But even with the good press, it just didn't get the viewership. Now, this particular TV show going up against all these other shows that are just either niche TV shows or animated shows, I mean, what are you really trying to win here? This is like I said, through and through, the Special Olympics. That's what this is. You're basically, all of you are idiots trying to compare each other to yourselves, and it's just like, oh, congratulations, you beat yourself. That just doesn't make any sense, but that's just how it goes. Next, he compared the show to HBO Max's House of Dragon. House of the Dragon, much like The Acolyte, is a very large budget show, 200 million or so in that range, at least insofar as what we know. But let's look at what the actual viewership looks like for a seriously big hit show. This from 2022, following the season or series premiere, I should say, House of the Dragon, 10 million viewers, 10 million, twice as much as what Disney is reporting, but it gets worse. He went on the premiere of House of the Dragon, drew 9.986 million viewers across linear, that's via cable and HBO Max streaming platforms in the US Sunday night. Hold up, House of the Dragon turned in twice as much viewership as The Acolyte, in the case just in the US alone. The Acolyte's numbers, again, if Disney is reporting in any consistency whatsoever, they're giving us total Disney Plus views, and that's in the first 24 hours. Now, I would be very curious to see what the answer Disney would have to these allegations, right? Because they can't lie. If they lie and their investors find out, they are so unbelievably screwed. It's not even funny. So they're put into kind of a little bit of a debacle here. Do they tell the truth and try to play up the truth, or do they lie and try to say, yeah, this is just US numbers only, and risk investors finding out the truth and basically suing them for lying straight out publicly? So we'll find out what ends up happening as time goes on, but I can't say I'm very shocked that Disney decided to do this little maneuver. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.